Hey guys, so I am back with another ARC review of a romance novel, and this time I am actually getting it out just before the release date. So if you're seeing this on the day that it's published, the video I mean, the book is not yet published. It will be though soon, and it's quite possible that you have already heard about this one anyway, because we are talking today about Ali Carter's first adult romance, I believe, The Blonde Identity. I know Ali Carter as a writer from when I was reading YA books. She is most famous, I'm pretty sure, for her Gallagher Girls books, which was a series of high school teenage spies. However, I actually never read those. I did read some of her other series, like her Embassy Row novels, which was a mystery series set on Embassy Row, which is the place in DC where all of the different embassies have their offices. I really enjoyed those, and so when I saw that she was doing an adult book, I thought that was really interesting because it's just another book in a trend that Michaela and I have been talking a lot about recently, of these previously YA authors writing predominantly adult romances, although that's not the only way that this has gone. Some of them are just writing like adult fantasies, but a lot of them have transitioned into adult fantasy or adult romance. So The Blonde Identity is the story of someone. The novel opens on the streets of Paris as a woman opens her eyes to find that she's bleeding on the pavement somewhere where she doesn't remember, because she doesn't even remember who she is. All of a sudden there's a lot of noise, there's revving motorcycles, there's men with guns, and a very, very hot man like basically giving her his arm and being like, "We gotta run." And so this woman is just like, I guess I'm gonna follow like the hot guy with the gun who's saving me from the scary guys with the guns, and maybe I'm going to figure out who I am. Hot spy guy has a name. His name is Sawyer. It's one of his many names. And he tells this woman that there is basically a conspiracy going on that involves the CIA, MI6, Mossad, the Russian mafia, and they're all after this flash drive with super secret and like world-changing information on it. And the guys, the scary guys with the guns, think that she has this drive. And this woman is just like, I don't even know my own name, let alone what this drive is or what is happening to me. But she is very much in danger, and Sawyer seems to be the one person she can trust to help get her out of it. It's a bit of a game of mistaken identity as well. You find out that this woman, her name is Zoe, and the Russian guys are all chasing her, and the CIA and Mossad, MI6 and all that kind of stuff, because they think that she is her twin sister Alex, who used to be a CIA agent, but is now on the run from every spy agency in existence and has stolen the drive. So Sawyer used to be Alex's partner, and basically is now trying to help Zoe in an effort to find Alex, to find the drive, and untangle this like international espionage incident. One of the things that's immediately funny about Zoe's character is that because she has no memory of who she is and where she's from, she remembers how to do certain things, but one of the things that she really just doesn't remember is like how to have fear. She's just like, well, I could have a number of skills. I could be anyone. I could be anything. And so she basically just keeps like testing and trying out things and like being like, I don't know, maybe I have this skill. Maybe I'm a martial artist. Maybe I'm this. Maybe I'm that. I'm the sister of a spy, so I must have skills, right? And that's really funny because Sawyer, as a secret agent, is very used to not doing things by the book, but having a certain way that he goes about like secret missions. And Zoe's just out there going, and just really making him just go, what is happening right now? And getting them into some really silly, but also some smart situations as well. One of which is that they have to pretend to be a couple who is married. So in between all the fake identity stuff and the espionage, if you're looking for the romance tropes involved in this, there is a brief period of fake marriage, fake engagement. There's only one bed, but it's very brief. It's mostly focused on this like, who's telling the truth, who is Zoe, where is Alex, what is going on, and their romance kind of existing within that space. This is also a clean romance novel. There is one scene where they do sleep together, but it happens, it's a fade to black moment. So if you would like to enjoy this and you don't like explicit sex scenes, that might be another reason for you to pick up this book. I have to say that for me, I enjoyed the book, but the thing about it was the way that Zoe both thought in her internal monologue and also spoke like out loud. This is a dual POV novel, and so I thought, okay, well, when Sawyer has some point of view chapters, maybe this will get a little less, but since it's just the way that Zoe thinks and the way that Zoe speaks, she's just very banter-filled, sarcastic, like in a way that you would not necessarily expect someone to speak all of the time, very hyperbolic, very silly. And I did find some of her one-liners really funny, but I think the problem was that she was consistently speaking like that, it started to lose its humor to me, and it just felt really, really overbearing in some places where I'm just like, okay, there's like people shooting at you, you're running from things, and I get that this is just kind of how you speak or who you are, but it felt like a bit much. There was also a lot about her, like, you know, pretending to be a dumb blonde, and then, oh, she's like against the dumb blonde stereotype. And I was like, why did we bring this up multiple times? Like, I don't know, it just felt weird. And it's why I brought up that Ally Carter has written a lot of YA, because the way that Zoe thought and spoke really, really reminded me of the sassy YA female Mary Sue protagonist, who is just like really funny and really good at everything and like is in this crazy situation, but don't worry, she has a skill to get out of every corner. And I was like, okay. And I mean, that could be great for you if you want a like spy romance novel that doesn't seem to really have that high of stakes except for at like these intermittent moments of tension. But for me, it just felt like so much. And I kind of started to read it a little bit faster because I just kind of wanted to know how the plot was going to resolve. It could just be that I wasn't in the headspace for this book, but I just really did feel that had Zoe's way of speaking been modulated a little bit and we had saved her really hyperbolic statements for when, you know, the humor could be really, really funny, as opposed to just having that be the way she spoke, it would have been more effective. I think that that's true of most any writing, right? Particularly humor. If you do something funny again and again and again and again, it stops being funny. And that's kind of how I felt about this book towards the end. That's probably compounded by the fact that we find out some things about Zoe later on in the book, like what her actual profession is and some things about her childhood history that I'm not going to tell you because they would be spoilers. But all I will say is that these things did not make sense with Zoe's behavior previously in the book or skills that she had shown herself to have earlier in the book. And for some of it, I just wasn't even sure why it was even included in the end of the book, because it did not affect Zoe's behavior in any way. And so like these reveals at the end kind of just felt like they were either kind of odd or just not insincere almost, like they had no purpose because they had no effect on the story. So I was like, why did that just happen? I don't want to say that I didn't enjoy this book. Like I said, if you're looking for something that's really silly, that's clean, that's got, you know, this like kind of, I mean, it's the title itself is a play on the Bourne Identity, which is both a book series and a movie series that I quite enjoy. The movies, I've not read the books. So if you're kind of feeling that with a romance element, you know, this might be something that you really want to pick up, especially if you like that hyperbolic, like banter humor style of a protagonist speaking. This is a perfect popcorn happy book if that's the speed that you're feeling right now, despite, like I said, the fact that there are guns and shooting and car chases and all that kind of stuff. It just wasn't where I am right now as a reader, I think, and the bits that I thought were funny, I felt were too overdone, and then the plot kind of got a little clunky in the end, and I was just like, okay, it's not my favorite thing. I still did enjoy the book. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I like really disliked it. I think that it had a lot of things going for it. I think that my real issue was in the execution of some of those things, which really is just a writing style preference, right? This was just not written in a way that was written for my preferred style, and that's okay. I would be really interested to put this book in conversation with some of the other YA to adult author transitions that Michaela and I have been noting along the way, and we're really interested in doing maybe even a whole reading roundtable where there are 4 of us who have each read a different book like this, kind of considering, you know, how or if those authors have changed their writing style at all to appeal more to a more adult audience. Not just like explicit sex scenes or anything, but just, you know, if their writing style has really changed, or if this is just really feels like they've written a YA novel with adult characters. And I don't even know, like, technically, stylistically, what that really looks like, but I would be really, really interested in investigating that some more, having had some really interesting feelings about this book. So hopefully Michaela and I do move forward on that idea, and you will find that interesting. Other than that, I think that is all that I really have to say on this book. Like I said, it's not out quite yet. I would like to thank Edelweiss and the publisher for my advanced review copy so that I could do this review for you guys. Make your own decisions, put it on hold at your local library, your local bookstore if you're interested, and then come back and talk to me about it. Thanks, guys. Bye.